Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday. How are you today, my friends? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. My weekend was crazy busy. We had a dog show with Miss Willow and had a lot of fun, but man, it's a lot of work too. So anyway, I got home yesterday afternoon and spent the rest of the day recovering. So here I am today with you wonderful folks, and I can't wait to share my project with you. I have a very sweet fancy fold card and I absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, I am using the Sweetest Cherries Stamp and Punch bundle, and whenever I have excuse me, whenever I have a punch that's one of these builder punches that has the different pieces that it cuts out, I like to get a piece of cardstock and just punch the image out. This way I can use this as a template to be able to stamp my images on, and I can get the best use out of my cardstock. So for these little cherries here, I used white cardstock and was able to stamp and then punch the entire set out at one time. So it makes it very handy and much easier to do than trying to manipulate paper and figure out how to get it in each of these slots, right? So okay, let me see here. Hey Luann, how's it going? Thank you so much for coming in. I see that folks are coming in. Say hello if you would. Please feel free to like, love, share my video. Sharing is caring, and it helps get my videos out there to other people. And we love to have new crafty friends to join us. So please feel free to share my video with your friends. Alright, so here's what we need. I have the Sweetest Cherries Stampin' Punch bundle. Okay, I'm using Pacific Point, Poppy Parade, and Garden Green inks. Alright, let me see here. There we go. And I'm going to be using the Rhinestone Basic Jewels for some accent pieces here. So let me set that aside. And this card has a lot of pieces, but it's going to be fun. Okay, so let me just set this stuff up here out of the way. This piece is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2 inches, and this is our card base. So we start out, you can see that 5 1/2 makes it the half a sheet regular A2 card, and then I've scored at 2 3/4, which is half again, so I'm able to do half again here, which gives us, it'll go this way, this direction. Okay, and then I have another piece of Poppy Parade cardstock. This is 1 1/2 by 11 inches, and again it's scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2, and this is what we call a double Z fold card. So the Z fold would be this, and then when we add this one, and I want it to go this direction. Okay, so it's going to lay like this, and it'll attach to each of these ends. It comes out like this, so it makes a double Z fold, right? So that's the foundation of our card. So we've got the 1 1/2 by 11 strip and the 4 1/4 by 11 strip, and each of them are scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, so there's that. Now layer 1 of the card is Pacific Point. This is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. 2 of these are 2 5/8. Let me double check that. 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. So those go there. And then on the strip here, we have 1 3/8. So this is 5 3/8 by 1 3/8. And these are 2 5/8 by 1 3/8. Okay, so we have our first layer. Okay, now I know this is a lot of pieces, but don't worry. If you head over to my blog post later on this evening, you'll be able to see all of the measurements. And so the supply list, the measurements will all be there. And it's really simple once you get the idea that you're making layers for each of the sections. Okay, so this basic white is a standard 5 1/4 by 4 inch panel. And then the 2 layers that go on this section are going to be 2 1/2 by 4 inches. And this one is going to be 5 1/4 by 1 and, let me make sure I'm right here, 1 1/4. So 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then these ones are 2 1/2 by 1 1/4. So now you can see we have all of the layers for each of the sections. We'll do the same for each one just to make it uniform, okay? And then I have a couple of scrap pieces of cardstock. This one measures 3 1/8 by 1 1/4, and this piece is going to be for us to stamp and fussy cut the word sweet. Okay, and then I have another scrap here that measures approximately 3 inches. Let's see, I can actually do with a 2 1/2 by 7 inch piece to be able to make 3 of the cherries. Now this one's a little bit wider, as you can see, but 2 1/2 is what this one is. So to keep from wasting paper, you could do the 2 1/2 by 7. All right, so anyway, I've got that scrap there. And then I also have an extra piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch cardstock, because for this card, you see that there really isn't anywhere to write a little note, but we can put a layer of basic white here on the back and put a little cherry right here, and then we have plenty of room to write whatever message we want, right? And then it would be on the back side of the card, just like this. Okay, so we'll do that. All right, okay, so let me set these things aside for just a second. And I need my little paper here. Give me 1 second. That's 3 1/8. Okay, sorry about that. I had to write that down there. Okay, so now this stamp set is photopolymer stamps, so I'm going to go ahead and bring out my Pierce mat. I'm also going to put all of these little strips in sections in piles so that I can work with them here. Okay, now then, these can be glued directly to the card layer, so I'll do that here in just a minute, but I want to do some stamping here to give it a minute to dry, just so that I don't smudge it. Okay, so I'm going to take that 3 1/8 inch strip of basic white cardstock and the Poppy Parade ink, and the word sweet from the stamp set. Tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. Make sure I've got it inked up pretty good. And then stamp it. Well, I may have stamped it off a little bit. It's a little hard to see from that far. Oh yeah, I had plenty of room. Well, I may have to flip it over. Yeah, let's try that again, shall we? Okay, This is what happens when you're far away from the camera. When you're far away from it and not over the top of it. There we go. Okay, that works much better. Alright, stamp it down. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside and then I'll cut around it. Okay, and then for the white panels, these 3 strips are going to be this really pretty basket weave. And it's so cool how it's done, but it's going to be done with the Pacific Point ink so that it matches the paper. And then we're using the basket weave pattern. And if you look on the pattern, you can see where it kind of lines up with itself. So I'll show you what I mean here. I'm going to take the ink, tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. And just best I can to line it up kind of in the middle. Okay. And then again, and this time I'm going to line up that row of weave with this row of weave. Okay, something like that. It doesn't have to be totally perfect, but it just fits in the space nicely. Okay, and then one more here. There we go. I'll set that one off to the side, and I'm going to do the same thing with these. Now I'm starting off the edge just so that I don't have a definitive seam. Okay, and then I'm going to put these 2 together just because I'm a lazy stamper. Alright. And I'll line that up again. Isn't that fun? Okay, I'll set that one aside. And then one last time with this one. There we go. Very good. Alright, so that's a pretty cool trick, isn't it? Alright, now then, I need to stamp all those cherries. So this is a totally random thing. I don't want you to get all caught up in exactly where these bits and pieces need to go. Okay, it's just totally random. We're gonna take our Poppy Parade, and we've got a solid cherry, and then we have one that's got a piece kind of cut off of it. Okay, so we'll just tap and stamp, tap, turn it a little bit. We just don't want it to be a uniform look. We want it looking random. Stamp. I don't want to go the same direction, so I'll do that. And then here. And one more here. I'm going to bring in the partial one and just kind of fill in some space. Alright. So we'll go this way, and it's okay for our stems to overlap each other. We don't mind that one bit. Come up here. Alright. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with these 2 panels as well. So I've got all 3 of those white panels. Let's put those together. And this is a great way to kind of do double duty. You know, you don't have to do it all. Let's see, there. And one more right there. Okay, and then back with the full size one. I'm just kind of going over this pretty quickly. Now, of course, you can take your time doing it and get more creative with your spacing or whatever you'd like to do, but I'm trying not to bore you to tears taking too long doing these little images here. So let me just do that, and then I'm going to put this one right here because I want a stem to go up there. Okay, so now then I'm going to come in with my stem, and I've got the stem and the leaf, and I'm going to use the leaf as filler, and you'll see as I go along I'm going to put the stem on each of my cherries here. So there's one, and see, it doesn't matter if it overlaps, it still looks nice. It's perfectly fine. Okay, need this one this way, and this one this way. Okay, and now I'm gonna add a little bit of filler here by putting a leaf, right, and then another one over here. And it's amazing how much this fills in the space. Also, we can add the idea of cherries filling in space as well, simply by stamping our stems off the edges just like that. We add just a little bit of the green in there. So we'll go across that way, and that looks nice, right? Okay, let me do maybe one more this way. There we go. Alright, now then, I'm going to do the next one, and this is why I'm just kind of going pretty quickly, because this particular process is going to take just a moment to do, especially if you take time and think about every little spot where you're going to place a cherry or a stem. It may take you a few minutes to get all that worked out, so we're just going to kind of go through it rather quickly, so this way we're not taking forever, and and we can get on to the rest of our project here. So get that, and right here would be a nice one, and I could have turned that one just a little bit more, but that's okay. And then this one just off the paper. All right, and then we've got to do our last piece here. So again, with the stems, and when I'm putting it on, I'm just lining the bottom of my stem just under the edge of the little dip in the cherry. So if you can see what I'm talking about, when I'm putting it down, it's just barely down under the edge of the cherry. And that way when I lift it off, it looks like it's seated perfectly. Okay, so that's just a quick little tip for placement of your cherry stems so that they look nice. And again, we're not worried about the stem going over because it still looks very nice. And you do want to go ahead and put your stems on these little parts that maybe just barely show, because it really does make a difference in the grand scheme of things. So go ahead and do it. Alright, there. And there. Okay, and then I want to add maybe another one here and another one right there. Alright, now then, I can fill this void area by simply doing that, right? And then add a little bit there so it looks like there's more to it. And that really fills in the space, doesn't it? There we go. Okay. And again here. And here. And up here. And here. There we go. Alright, and maybe one right there. Okay, there we go. I think that's pretty good. Alright, now that I've got all that done, I'm going to bring in this section, and I have this little template here. This is just the one that I used that ready-made template on in the first place. So I had this scrap piece of cardstock, and I made sure that I could fit, whoops, it goes this way. I made sure that I could fit this in the space. I stamped around it and then moved it over and did it again, so I didn't want to be in the punch. I wanted to be over. So once I did this stamped image, I punched it out and then moved over here and lined it up with that space. So I didn't want it to have overlap from that space, right? And then I moved it here, and then so on and so on. Well, now that I have this one done, I can just lay this down, and instead of having to move it each time, I can just line it up. Now that may not work because it's white on white, so we're gonna see how lucky we feel. And I'm gonna try to move in a little bit closer to the, woo, yeah, that's gonna be tough. Okay, I'm gonna show you how I did this. Using the darker color is how you can see better where the outline is. So I was trying to kind of cheat and use the white because it was already done, but that was obviously not going to work. So okay, so there we have that. Let me get the green out. Now you'll want to do this one as you go, so let's do that. I've got it lined up here, and I'm just going to line everything up in the spot as best I can, and it's okay if you're a little bit off. No worries. No worries at all. Okay, there we go. And then this one here. All right, so now I've got my cherries stamped, and I take my punch and I can line it up. Now, you know, I don't know about you, but every time I stamp it and punch it, it comes out just a little bit different. But I'm just making sure that it's even the best it is, or best it can be, okay? So I punch that out, and then I'm going to do it all over again here. And what I was saying is, when I line this up for the second one, I just want to make sure that there's white cardstock behind there, that I have plenty of just plain cardstock. Okay, so now I can go ahead and stamp this. There aren't any holes behind it, so it's going to stamp okay. I'll stamp this one again and line that up just a tiny bit better there. You only get to do that one time, adjusting it after you've stamped it. The rest of the times you just stick with what you got. All right, here we go. And here we go. All right. So there's that one. And here we are. There we go. And then one more right there. Tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. And okay, ooh, I got that one way off. Let's see here. Alright, that one's gonna have to just be as good as it can be. Alright. We're gonna be a little bit off there. Let me slide it best I can. There we go. Okay. I got it a little bit off center to the point that I couldn't slide it over anymore. That's what I'm finagling here. Okay, but if you give yourself some extra cardstock, which those who know me well know I don't give too much extra cardstock. But if you do, then you would have more room to manipulate it. So we're going to just go with it, and it's going to be fine. Alright, now I'm going to close this so that I don't get it all over my fingers more than it already is. Okay. Alright, here we go. Now this time I'm going to just try to line up the other three best I can, and that one cherry is going to be off a little bit, but it's going to be okay because I'm going to tuck that one. I'll tuck that one behind the others. Okay, so now I've got that, and I'll set that out of the way. Okay, now I've got all these little pieces. I'll work on those here in just a moment. So now I'm going to take the sweet and my snips, and I'm going to fussy cut. It is up to you how much you fussy cut it. I just kind of went around the outer borders of it. I don't really get too much into fussy cutting super clean and tight. I like to just get it done. So I may be a bit looser with it than most people are, but that's okay. It's entirely up to you how much you want to cut out and how much you don't. In fact, it looks like tonight I'm going to cut a bit more out than I even normally do. I typically recommend to leave a nice little border, so I'm going to tell you to do as I say, not as I do just now, because for whatever reason, my hands are telling me to really cut in there deep. So as you can see from this one here, I did not do that, so you'll be able to see between the two whether you like it to be a tight clip or or whether you'd like it to have a little more room. So anyway, it's all good. All right, let's see here. Here we go. Okay, and then I'm going to come around, give it a little bit of a tail here. I do kind of want to make sure that my little T-tail and the bar here are nice and trimmed around. Okay. I think I'm going to trim across that just a little bit more too, because I'm not crazy about that, but that's okay too. Alright, so I'm just going to keep trimming around here, and as you can see, it is not at all perfect, but that is a-okay. You can go back in later and tidy up what you don't like, and you can leave it if you want, so it's totally up to you. And don't worry about it being perfect, because no one's going to pay that much attention to it anyways. And besides, it's going to be sitting on mostly white background, so it's going to kind of tidy up a little bit there as well. So I want to just tidy this piece here just a tiny bit, because I thought it looked a little bit weird to be so pointy. And there we go. Okay, so that one's a little bit closer of a clip than this one is, but that is a-okay. Alright, so now let me set this off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and start assembling our card. Okay, so I've got my Stampin' seal here, and I'm just going to attach each of the Pacific Point panels with its corresponding section of the card base. I've got this one here, and I have these ones here. I love these colors together. They look so patriotic, like Americana, and I think that's terrific. I think of that when I think of cherries and stuff. It just looks so nice together, so that's why I chose these colors. But of course you could do just any colors with this. I mean, you could do a black and white card with some cherries. That would really pop off the page. Or you could do it in pinks even. I mean, that would be really cute. Pinks and grays maybe. Or Blushing Bride and Mint Macaron. That'd be cute. It'd be a really nice soft and pastel type of card. That would be sweet. Okay, and just the same as I did with the regular card base, for this layer I'm doing the same thing. So I'm putting the corresponding blue layer on top of its section right there on the Poppy Parade base. Okay, so just like that. And then the same on this one. Okay. Alright, very good. Now then, the white layers, the same thing, right? Except that I want to make sure that I've got it going in the right direction. So you see that I have the bigger panel for the base over here and the two smaller panels here. With the strip, I want it to be the opposite. So I've got the two smaller panels here and the longer panel here, okay? Now, that doesn't really matter too much for us today necessarily, because my pieces could go whichever way, you know, I could make them go whichever way I want to go. But I kind of want this one to go this way, because this panel is going to fill up that little bit of negative space right there. All right, so if you have a direction that you want it to go, then you may want to know which way is up, right? So I'll put that one that way, and then this one, it really doesn't matter on it. So I'm just going to go here and put this on. I love this basket weave look. I think it reminds me of a nice little strawberry basket. So to me, it looks like you're looking at strawberries that are sitting in a basket. I think that's pretty cool. All right, here we go. Thank you so much, Luann. I appreciate that. She says it's a pretty card. Thank you. I really like it. Okay, now then, I'm going to put the sweet on dimensionals. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some up here, and yeah, that's where I stamped the back, and it's okay. Let me cut this in half because I really want my dimensionals to be a little more towards the outer areas here, because I don't want it to lift or anything like that. So I'm going to separate my large dimensionals into smaller ones just to fill up more of my paper here so you can see what I'm talking about there. Okay, and then this one, cut it in half again, and I'll put one here and one here. Okay, so it'll go like that. All right, let me get these down. Here we go. I think the Swedish Cherries are a super cute bundle, and they're really inexpensive too. I think 36 bucks for the bundle, which is a terrific deal. You can get a pack of cardstock, and you know, you can make a lot of these cards with one pack of cardstock. It would be a terrific price. So absolutely love it. You can make a whole bunch, and you can make so many cute things with this bundle too. I mean, think about a little party set, like a table place setting would be very cute, with little napkin rings and a placeholder and maybe a cupcake topper and a banner. I mean, there are so many fun, cute things that you can do with it. Okay, now I'm gonna take some tear and tape, because I always get a little bit nervous that this is going to come undone, and so I like the idea of putting tear and tape so that way I know it's gonna stay forever, right? So I'm gonna just put a strip on each end, just like so. And let's see here, I'm seeing comments. Oh, hi, Miss Susie, how's it going? Yes, you know what? This card absolutely reminds me of you, sweetheart, because I think about your little hair bandanas and aprons, and this matches perfectly, doesn't it? Okay, now for this piece. I will put this card together, fold it over, and I'm going to fold this piece over, and I'm going to stick it down where I want it to go. Okay, now it should line up with the end of this card and the end of this side as well. And so by putting it on while it's folded, I guarantee that it's going to be able to fold up together. And ooh, that was off just a little. Let's see if I can. Ooh, don't tear. Okay. Let me try that again. That was not straight. Y'all. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. I tell you, that not being able to look over the top. Okay, so now I've got it down, and by putting it together this way with it folded up, I know that it's going to close up nicely, and then I can lay it out and it lays out perfectly as well. Okay, so now that we can embellish everything and do all the stuff we want to do, and we know that it's going to fold up nicely and fit together where it's meant to go. All right, so we're going to bring in this little suite that we cut out just a minute ago. Take all the backing off here. Okay, and we'll put it right about there. Now let me hold this up to make sure, because I'll tell you, my depth perception is a little off tonight apparently. Okay, there we go. That looks nice. All right, now it's time to assemble all of these little cherries, right? Okay, first thing I want to do is put the stems on my cherries. All right, so I'm going to move the leaves out of the way for just a minute. I'm actually not even going to use all of the leaves, so it just gives you a few extra to plug in if you want. Hi, Miss Kathy. How are you? It's okay, honey. You'll be able to find all of the measurements for this card on my blog a little bit later on, so give me just maybe half hour or so after the video posts and it should be there. I think somewhere around I don't know, 9 o'clock maybe. Okay, I'm gonna put just a little dot of glue at the top of each cherry and then put the stem directly onto the front of it just like that. Okay, and then I want this one to curve this way just a little more. And I want this one to curve this way just a little more, because we're gonna put them behind this one. All right, so I said I was gonna be able to cover up that little dookie right there by doing this, right? So that way it looks more intentional. There we go. So it's going to go something to this effect. Whoops. To this effect right here. Okay. And then it's hidden, right? So it looks great. Okay. So now then what I need to do is I need to add dimensionals to the back side of this one. And I'm just going to put one on this edge and one on this edge. And I'm going to peel the backings off and line this up how I think I want it to go. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I have it contained. Now I don't mind that it's off a little bit there, that's a-okay. And I'll run some adhesive along this one and along this one, and then put them right here on my card. Okay, so I want it to be somewhere like that. All right, and then I'm going to be able to add my leaves right here, and I'm just going to put a little cluster so that way it kind of hides things a bit. So I'll put 1, 2, and 3. So it'll be something like that. Okay. So for that, all I want to do is take my liquid glue again, and I'm not attaching it so that it goes to the back of the card. It could if you want it to, and that's totally okay. In fact, I may have put a dimensional behind it. I did, to hold it all up so that it doesn't go flat. So let me grab my dimensional here, and I'm going to put it right underneath where the leaf, or where the stems are. Touch them down, there we go. And then I'm going to add my little dot of glue right there for this leaf, and a little dot of glue here for this leaf, and a little dot of glue here for the third one. Okay, now the other leaves I'm just not even going to use. I'll save those for something else later. Okay, there we go. All right, now the only thing we have left to do is to put our embellishments on and then decorate what would be our inside panel and our envelope, okay? So let me get the rhinestones right quick. And you can see that I've just added a few here. So I've got one right here. And then I have one here and one right here. Okay, very cute. I love it. Set that off to the side, and now my super sweet card is almost finished. Okay, so I've got that. Let me take this out of the way, bring in my background layer. This is the 5 1/4 by 4 inch basic white piece, and my Poppy Parade ink and Garden Green ink again. And should I do a whole cherry or a cherry bite? Maybe do the whole cherry for the inside. So I'll go like this. And then on the front of the envelope, I'll do a whole cherry. And on the back side, I'll do the partial. Okay. And then I'm going to take the stem, stamp, stamp, and stamp. Super cute, right? I love it. And because I didn't do the other ones for my card sample, I'm going to go ahead and do those right quick too. And so you'll be able to see one more time how I did that. So I did the whole cherry on the inside panel, or what would be the back panel actually, and a whole one here on the front, and then that one there, and this one here, and here, and I think it needs just a little leaf too, don't you? Maybe just one. Just like that. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, let's try that again. One there. And how about one? Uh-oh, I think I got a little dot on my hand. That's okay. And two. Okay. And then one here. All right, that one looks nice. Let me get a little tissue and wipe off that edge right quick so I don't make a mess. Okay, and this one, and this one. All that card is missing is your address. You know what, Miss Susie? You are absolutely right. Message me your address, babe, and I will get this card in the mail to you. How's that? All right. There we go. I think it is so stinking cute. I absolutely love it. All right. Let me move these aside right quick. And we'll go ahead and attach these panels to the back side of our card so you can see how that will go. All right, so I'm going to lay that out, and I'm just going to put this on here because I'm afraid that my ink might still be a little bit wet and I don't want it to smudge. Okay, so let me set that right there. Okay, and there we go. And I'll let that set aside for just a moment because I can see that that green's got just a little bit of spot right there. Hi, Miss Karen. How are you? I'm glad that you were able to join me today. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So I have got a lot to get done for this week to share with you all. And I'm getting together my little chart made because, as most of you know, I have been working towards earning the incentive trip, and I still have a little ways to go. I still have 2 months to get all of my points, but I'm at the 10,000 points left mark, which will go much quicker than it may sound. When people order, I get points for every order, and if someone joins or orders the starter kit and qualifies, I get a lot of points for that too. So if you would like to take advantage of the current celebration promotion, where you get a super gorgeous planner, notebook set, and stamp set, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I absolutely love it, and you will too. You get that complete collection for free when you take advantage of the Celebration Starter Kit promotion. So it's $125 of your choice of Stampin' Up! Products for only $99, and you get free shipping, plus you get that free planner collection, which is absolutely gorgeous. Celebration is going on right now, which means for every $50 that you purchase, you get a free Celebration item. And we're not talking about little kitschy things. We're talking about stamp sets and dies and paper packs. I mean, you can see the Hippest Hippos are my absolute favorite. I think they're so stinking cute. And there's a paper pack and stamp set and paper. As you can see, there's some really nice things that you can get absolutely free with your purchase. And you can find all the details for this on my website, as well as on my blog. You also will get a free stamp set on top of all the other promotional things. You can get a free stamp set, this perfect pomegranate, absolutely free when you have a qualifying order or workshop of $300 or more, which is so easy to do and so much fun. I would love to do a Facebook party for you, or an in-person party if you're close enough. We can do a card class similar to this, or a little workshop, or whatever you like. And you're going to be hearing a lot more from me in the coming weeks, because this is the closest that I have ever been to earning the incentive trip. And it takes so much hard work. And it has absolutely everything to do with my wonderful customers and my incredible team. And they've been working super hard. I've been working super hard. And I'm so close to earning it. And I would love to be able to share that opportunity with you, and let you follow me along on the trip. And I'll do live videos and pictures and all the cool things. So I'm going to be doing lots of stuff. I'm going to be doing some giveaways. I'm going to be doing promotions, because I really want to earn this trip. So if there is anything that I can get for you, some adhesives or stamp set, or one of our all-inclusive kits that you can put together. If you're a brand new stamper, or you've never stamped before in your life, the kits are absolutely amazing, because they have step-by-step photo instructions on how to do things. They have everything that you need in the kit, except for maybe a pair of scissors if they have ribbon, for you to cut the ribbon. But they come with dimensionals if they need it, which are these little foam dots. They come with little adhesive circles for you to attach layers together. They literally come with everything you need. If there's stamping involved, it comes with a little stamp set, an ink pad, and a little acrylic block to put the stamps on. I mean, everything. So anyway, hit me up if there's anything that I can get for you. You can go to my website, danasullivan.stampinup.net, to order, and visit my blog at thestampinchick.com here in just a little bit. I will have the measurements for this beautiful card, and you'll be able to get the measurements as well as the supply list there. So if you'd like to make some of these cards for yourself, you'll be able to get all of that information on my blog, okay? All right, guys, thank you all so very much for being with me this evening. I appreciate each of you, and I hope that I will see you again next time. Until then, my friends, have a wonderful day. Bye for now.